it's so good to be with you right here on the India Development Debate this evening. I'm Supriya Shrinate. The Congress seems to be back in the Hindi heartland and has an upper edge over the BJP in a direct contest. That's the biggest takeaway from today's exit polls. While the Grand Old Party has clearly taken a march over the BJP in Rajasthan and leads in Chhattisgarh, all eyes are on Madhya Pradesh. It seems to be too close to call, very neck and neck, with an advantage, a glimmer of advantage to the Congress party. However, Congress's winning streak is likely to come in at a halt as far as Telangana is concerned. The Telangana Rashtra Samithi is likely to retain the southern state, where Rahul Gandhi had cobbled a Mahagathbandhan with the TDP. Mizoram is headed for a hung assembly. Modi has a lot to worry about. That's at least what we would say the BJP will be looking at. Remember, he had won 62 out of the 65 parliamentary seats in these three states of the Hindi heartland. It's time for introspection, soul searching. But what is the message that states 2018 are going to deliver for India 2019? Is the juggernaut of Modi and Shah going to work? Is Rahul Gandhi back in the reckoning? Can he be taken more seriously? What about Mayawati's big gamble as far as elections are concerned? All of that and a lot more over the next 60 minutes right here on ET Now. I'm joined by Shankar Iyer, author and political commentator, Swaminathan Iyer, consulting editor, ET Now, Syed Zafar Islam represents the BJP, Salman Anasos represents the Congress party, and Sunil Alag is commentator and founder of SKA Advisors. So thank you very, very much all of you for being with us. And Swami, if I may let you have the first word on the show. 5 states account for 1/6 of India's Lok Sabha seats. These are the states, barring of course Telangana and Mizoram, that the BJP had completely maxed. I mean, you had done very well, winning 62 out of the 65 seats there. And it seems to be slipping away. I mean, these are exit polls. We're telling our viewers again and again, these are exit polls. This is not the actual result. It may well vary from here. It has in the past. But with all counts that are available, our polls of polls is telling us the average that the Congress is an advantage. In MP, also in Chhattisgarh, it seems to be winning, and for Rajasthan, it looks like a clear sweep. Swami, your quick takeaway from what the 5 states in India are telling us at the end of 2018.
Well, Supriya, I would say that the conditions are actually one generally of anti-incumbency. If you look at the elections that have taken place recently, wherever the BJP has been the anti-incumbent, it has done very well. Wherever it has been the incumbent, it has lost ground. In that context, for the Congress to do well would be expected. And if the Congress does not do as well as expected, the BJP can console itself that it has done reasonably well. There are different polls showing different things. Right now, I mean, even in Madhya Pradesh, Congress at 112 is short of a majority. It's not yet a majority. BJP, if you say 109, well, but the others, it might still perhaps form a government. In fact, if you look at the range of possibilities of the different polls, you could have a hung assembly in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So there's a considerable range of uncertainty right now. On the range of polls that I'm seeing, I would simply say this was an excellent chance for the Congress to try and win all 3. And if the BJP can hold its ground in even 2 of them, I would say it has done not badly.
Shankar Iyer, are you going to be, do you agree with Swami that, because Swami seems to suggest that this is still uncertain, and if the BJP can hold ground even in one of the 3, this isn't advantage the Congress party. But remember, the Grand Old Party has lost its appetite, its will, and almost its inclination to win. If it were to win at least 2 out of these 3, I'm seemingly seeing a clear advantage even in the 3rd. How do things stack? What is it? What's the big cue and takeaway that you will make of these state assembly elections?
Well, you know, one can't take the exit polls findings for final. It is a matter of assumption, estimation, approximation. So be that as it may, as Keynes would say, the trend seems to be right. The levels may differ on the day of the counting. So on the basis of trends, 2 things are very distinct. That when the Congress empowers its state leadership, it is able to deliver or perform or at least be visible on the radar. The second thing is that the BJP had a great mandate and it has had the opportunity to sustain power in these states. But remember, it has struggled to retain seats. I mean, Gujarat, it took the Prime Minister Modi all his effort to sort of break through the logjam that was there. And in Goa, we know what happened. So these three states, out of these two states, had triple incumbency. I mean, at the assembly level, at the state CM level for 15 years, and then the central incumbency. In Rajasthan, the story is slightly different. I think in Rajasthan, the perception of incohesion or infighting in the party, the war within the parivar, so to speak, has sort of played its part. And in the last 1 week, the BJP and its spin doctors were at great pains to point out that they have recovered ground, and they put out various stories and messages about that. We will know on the counting day what the final score is. But if you look at it, the larger message across these three states, and if one were to believe the findings of the exit polls on Telangana, seems to indicate that the BJP has not quite been able to answer or address the issues of rural distress.
That's exactly. Shankar Iyer, give me a minute, because I think rural stress is a point that I want to speak about, and is agrarian mess going to be the big issue going into 2019. But Sunil Alag, you represent Indian industry, and you also represent in some sense the people who would have liked to see the BJP win these elections. And I'm not saying you would have, and I'm just saying that from an Indian industry point of view, they like continuity, B, they like more free market, more right of center. Many people will dispute it has not been a right of center government, but the fact markets don't like BJP to lose, and that's a pretty foregone conclusion. How do you believe stakeholders of the economy, stakeholders of the markets are going to read election results? Thankfully, tomorrow is a Saturday, and Monday is when the markets will perhaps digest and consume this news better. But if exit polls were any indication, the BJP is on a back foot.
You know, most industry all over the world prefers a stable government. It doesn't matter whether it's the BJP or whether it's the Congress, they want stability. And that's the most important thing. What I've been able to gather, these state elections, you all call it the semi-finals or quarter-finals, it does not really reflect that. All that happens is that we have about 29 states, and each state is the size of a country in Europe. So each state of ours works on its own. And the only thing that can be gauged from whatever you're saying on exit polls or X or Y or Z is that, look, at the end of it, whatever I've gathered is that most polls vote governments out. They very rarely vote governments in. So it's a question of turning around and saying, if you're very dissatisfied with what is happening, you'll vote somebody out and the next guy comes in. So it's a question of, if you go around all over India, you will see that they are now beginning to vote more sensibly. The states say that, look, we are going to vote for the party that we think is going to look after the state. At the center, we want stability, and therefore Modi is likely to win in 2019. I really don't know how it goes, but most industry will want the center to be stable. I mean, they are least going to be concerned about what happens in MP or Rajasthan.
Fair point. No, Sunil, I get your point, and a little later in the show, we'll figure out what it means for the center and what sort of cues will be drawn from there. But Syed Zafar Islam, coming to you, we had some of your other colleagues from the BJP a little while back on the channel, and there is a lot of bravado, and I wouldn't blame you. You represent the BJP and you should defend their position. But how are you going to read into the exit polls? Are you going to rubbish them? Are you going to deny them? Or if this is an indication of things on the 11th of December, you are simply going to say this is anti-incumbency, we were in government for 15 long years, this was bound to happen. I'm just trying to understand, how is the BJP going to read into this verdict? Because I know you don't take to defeat very kindly.
No, Supriya, see, this is just a survey, it's an opinion poll. I respect that, but I definitely have the discretion, and the party has the discretion to accept it or ignore it. But let me tell you the ground reality. Having been in on the ground for over a month and a half, be it Madhya Pradesh, be it Telangana, be it Rajasthan, and I can tell you with conviction that the survey, whatever survey suggests and the opinion poll suggests, our expectation is very contrary to what the opinion suggests. We definitely feel that in terms of Madhya Pradesh, we are far ahead of Congress party. There is no organization of Congress party, and if you had travelled in Madhya Pradesh, you will see that BJP has organization everywhere, every corner of the state. You have people, you have booth level workers, you have a Karyakarta, you have foot soldiers, and people are there. But in case of Congress, you will hardly see them.
Okay.
Yes, there could be some anti-incumbency against some sitting MLAs, but there was absolutely no anti-incumbency as far as the state government is concerned. When I'm talking about the Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, as well as Rajasthan.
Okay.
And people are very happy with the way
we will know how happy they
the
are
government
on the
has been functioning for last 15 years in Madhya Pradesh as well as in Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
But no, exactly. So all I can say that let the opinion poll be whatever it is. But I can give you some statistics to justify.
No, give me a minute. Syed Zafar Islam, I don't want the statistics right now. Give me a minute. Zafar, give me a minute. Let me also get Salman Soz into this discussion. Because, you know, I've seen the smile back on the Congress party after a long while. Salman, in MP, and let's go step by step. Let's not have this lofty generality discussion. Let's go step by step. In Madhya Pradesh, out of BJP is leading in 4 out of the exit polls that we've been measuring out of 9. The Congress is leading in 5. There is a broad consensus that the Hindi heartland could be going your way. Now, are you going to say a hooray there, or is this what Sunil Alak says? People don't vote governments in, they vote governments out. Shivraj Singh Chauhan at the helm of affairs, 3-term chief minister. This was anti-incumbency that was setting in. 80% of the MLAs were repeat candidates. Many in the BJP will say, you know, no surprises. This was bound to happen. I'm just trying to understand from the Congress party, how are you going to read into this? Are you going to read this as a big mandate in your favor? Because this is, after all, the big Hindi heartland that really counts. We are talking about 1/6 of the Lok Sabha that went into elections. Salman.
Well, think about it. We were behind by 8 percentage points, when you look at the 2013 election. So, yes, there is anti-incumbency, but there are also factors which help the incumbents. For 3 terms, BJP has been in power, and with power comes an ability to build an organization. And Zafar is right; they had a big organizational advantage early on, and I think we've tried to chip away at that advantage. And I think what we have done is we've also reminded the people of Madhya Pradesh that the Congress party has governed this country for a long time, and then along came Mr. Modi, and he came with, people had great expectations. He came with great promises, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, incompetence or arrogance or whatever, being out of touch, whatever it is, failed to deliver. Not only did he fail to deliver, he actually delivered a few big initiatives that actually hurt the states. So it's all very well to say that the states are countries in themselves and they run on their own, but things like demonetization are countrywide. Things like GST rollout are countrywide. Things like joblessness, they're countrywide. So, you can't really get away from the farmer distress, that's countrywide. Not just country, there are some very serious things going on. And I think if you look at the states of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh especially, these states are very rural. And farmers have borne the brunt under Prime Minister Modi and these BJP governments. So I think they're punishing these governments. And I think people are also saying, we do not want Achhe Din. We want a Bure Din, because they were better for us. They cared.
I don't know
You
if you
people
say
are
that Bure Din is on account of you. I don't know.
Install chief ministers like Yogi Adityanath, who does not even travel to a killed police officer's
Salman
home.
Soz, I will come to that. Salman, that's a point I will address.
In Gorakhpur. This is ridiculous.
No, Salman, I will come to that point in just a bit. But to Shankar Iyer, if I may go and then go across to Swami, because I think MP is an important state to talk about. MP is a state that needs to be talked about. It sends 29 MPs to the parliament. So, Shankar Iyer, to you then, and you spoke about rural distress, and I'm presuming an election verdict in Madhya Pradesh is going to be the best indicator of how acute that rural stress is, and whether the state and the central government are cognizant of that. Do you believe MP could turn around for the Congress party and against the BJP because of the rural stress? The same rural stress, the same rural population that voted for the BJP in UP doesn't seem to stand by it in Madhya Pradesh.
I want to make a couple of points before that. The fact is that people vote against the incumbent, but they also choose. Would it be fair to say that people did not vote Narendra Modi in 2014? The other aspect that I want to sort of park here is that stability means different things to different people. So there is a theory here in India that coalition governments don't deliver, when the fact of the matter is in 1991 Narasimha Rao's government was a seasonal coalition. You got liberalization. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government had 22 parties. The UPA had about 18 at one time and 24 at another time. In a way of speaking, even Mr. Modi's NDA government has a coalition. So I think there is a danger in trying to generalize or universalize a particular angle of a story. So I won't universalize the story on rural distress. I won't say the mandate, if it goes for the BJP, all is well with the rural sector. The fact is the rural sector has had problems. First, there were 2 years of drought. The second is that the issues that were flagged by the BJP in the 2014 campaign and subsequently, those issues have been spoken about. I mean, you know, throughout this tenure, what we hear, what's happening is that we hear everything that you want to hear and need to hear, but everything that needs to be done doesn't seem to be getting done.
Right.
The simple fact is agriculture is like any other business. It needs forward and backward linkages.
Right.
So there is 3 budgets or 2 budgets ago, Arun Jaitley spoke about a contract farming act.
Right.
Now that has been left to the states to do.
Right.
The e-market for farmers. I mean, if Amul could bring milk to from villages to the cities, which is milk is a far more perishable commodity, why can't they do an Amazon or a Flipkart for farmers? That's the question, and that's where innovation comes through.
Right. No, Shankar, I think you raised an important point there, and Zafar, I see your finger go up, but give me a minute. I want to get Swami into the... Okay, we seem to have lost Swami. Zafar Islam, come in on that point. Has your government not been cognizant of the rural stress? Because state after state, if you see, the story is one of agrarian mess. The story is not one of people turning against you for other reasons. But the farmer of this country, we saw the farmers march in the capital city of Delhi. They were in big numbers. 5 or 6 odd Kisan organizations, Kisan unions got them together. There is palpable rural stress. To deny it is perhaps going to be done at the cost of losing elections in states like Madhya Pradesh. Syed Zafar Islam.
Well, Supriya, let me tell you very clearly that we do not ignore. If there is a problem, we definitely try to address that. And having said that, let me also respond to the question you have posed. As far as the rural stress is concerned, particularly since Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh or Rajasthan is where you have large population, which is a rural population, and majority of the population is dependent on agriculture. So the farmer's problem is the primary problem there. And if you see, what are the concerns the farmer have? The concerns of the farmer is, first, the better price realization, so MSP. And second, the distribution, the supply chain, which was definitely missing. Third is, of course, the storage and the infrastructure. So the BJP government, whether it's state or the center, we have focused on few things like creating backward integration and forward integration as far as the produce is concerned, because the shelf life of all this perishable product will definitely go up.
Okay, this is not a discussion on the agrarian situation in this country. No, 1 second. Syed Zafar Islam, I am not discussing the agrarian situation in this country in great detail, but give me a minute. I want to go across to Swami, who's back with us. Zafar, I will come back to you, and I don't want to... No, I don't think today is the day to discuss perishable commodities versus non-perishable commodities. Today is the day to discuss exit polls, so let's stick to that. But I will come back to you. Zafar, give me a minute. Swami, in a lot of ways, while we talk about, the MP elections of Rajasthan, and I think, there is a point that is to be made that Shankar Iyer said, the Congress party has to be cognizant of one fact, that where there are empowered regional leaders, they will perhaps make a difference on the ground. Where the organization itself is missing and there are no leaders, the impact will be as telling as it is in Uttar Pradesh. Is this going to be a victory for Sachin Pilot, Ashok Gehlot, Jyotiraditya Scindia and Kamal Nath? Who gets the credit for all of this?
Well, let us see what the outcomes are.
Favorable. Let's presume if they are favorable.
Success has many fathers.
And failure is an orphan.
Within the Congress party, everybody will say, oh, this is entirely because of Rahul Gandhi. To say otherwise would be death in the Congress party. So I'm not sure that it would go that way. But yes, I think generally speaking, if there is a strong local leadership, obviously it helps. And in the case of Madhya Pradesh, in the case of Rajasthan, less clearly in Chhattisgarh, yes, the Congress is better organized in these states than in some other places. But I said, even more important, I mean, look at the anti-incumbency. To get elected again and again and again is not easy. In the case of Chhattisgarh, Raman Singh has been winning by the skin of his teeth. And if he's been winning by the skin of his teeth, right now, frankly, he should be easy meat for the Congress to have been beaten. Madhya Pradesh, of course, Shivraj Chauhan had a very large majority, and to that extent he may be able to come back. I'd simply say that, since you started talking about Madhya Pradesh, this is a state which under Chauhan registered spectacular agricultural growth. I mean, the agricultural growth, the figures were so good that I had some doubts whether they could really be that high. But it did extremely well in the earlier terms. Has it done quite so well in this term? No, not quite so well, but still reasonably well. The mess, if you ask me, is this issue of agricultural price policy. I mean, Mr. Modi, very worried about agrarian distress, came out with this idea, we are going to double agricultural income by 2022.
Yeah, I see no move on that.
Out of a hat. And for doing that, what he has tried to do, the high MSP, has it actually been realized by farmers on the ground? No. Right. It has been a disaster.
No. And so has the insurance, yes, crop insurance as well. Yeah.
And to promise and not deliver.
Yeah.
By promising and not delivered, I think Mr. Modi has done his own party an injustice in this particular.
But Swami, you are prompting me a question that I should take up with Sunil Alagh. And Sunil Alagh, is this vote, and I was tempted to go to Telangana, but I must ask this question. Is this vote a vote against state chief ministers, against MLAs who are repeated? Or is this a reflection of anger and disappointment with hopes that were raised, with expectations that were elevated by the central government? I mean, you can't shy away from the fact that Mr. Modi, Modi's policies, or Mr. Modi himself is the biggest electoral mascot of the BJP. So who is this vote against?
Actually, as far as I'm concerned, you will see states where the chief ministers are doing exceptionally well and they don't wait for the center. So you can't keep blaming the center for everything. The chief ministers of each state are as responsible as anybody else. So no matter, Modi's test will come in 2019. To blame him for a win or a loss or give him the credit, I would disagree with that completely. And if all the farmers are upset, it should be a sweep in favor of one party. Why are the elections so close? That means many people feel that in MP, the chief minister has looked after them. Many people feel they haven't. And here comes people like Kamal Nath and Jyotiraditya Scindia, who are people like in Punjab. You had the Maharaja of Patiala. What is emerging now is that leaders in each state are as important as the leader in the center. That is the trend of the future. So you can't have one person in the center and all the other states don't have good leaders. So to give credit to Rahul Gandhi or failure to Rahul Gandhi is again wrong. To give credit to Mr. Modi or not to do is again wrong. Each state has to begin to perform, and that's the clear trend now. Otherwise, it would be a sweep against the BJP. It would have been a sweep in Rajasthan. It would have been a sweep in MP. Why isn't there a sweep? It means that leaders are now emerging, and that's the new trend.
Okay, Sunil Alagh, give me a minute.
That's the new trend.
I get that. But 82 to 107 will be called a sweep. But give me a minute there. I will go across to Salman Soz. Salman, the Congress party has something to answer as far as Telangana is concerned. You went there, you hurriedly got into an alliance with the TDP, unseemly bedfellows, but you know, politics is made of strange ones. What went wrong there? It looks like KCR has completely pulled, has pulled through and pulled through rather stunningly. You pale in comparison. He advanced the elections. He's reaped the benefits. And now, you know, you are left with an ally who was not your natural ally. People said this was political opportunism. You're left to defend that alliance. Salman.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I can tell you that the Telangana polls, or even these other exit polls, you know, exit polls are, let's face it, they're very patchy. Their results are really patchy. You know, we've seen that historically. I think in Telangana we're going to do much better than the exit polls suggest. I think, honestly, my sense is that we might win all 5 states that are that have gone to the polls right now. But I do want to talk about something that Sunil Alag brought up, because you asked this question in, you gave this kind of this question this national dimension. Sunil talked about industrialists wanting some level of stability at the center, and you know, at the states, whatever happens, happens. You know, recently I was with a group of 20 businessmen and women who wanted to talk about what the Congress party had in mind. Honestly, almost all of them had voted for the BJP in 2014. I swear 18 out of 20 were saying that they're not going to vote for them. And the 2 people who might vote for them were also kind of iffy. Business people have realized that Modi was nothing compared to what he actually ended up being. All the promises, all this kind of pro-business, pro-reform kind of guy, decisive, administrative genius and all this stuff, vibrant Gujarat, nothing. Incompetence, failure, insensitive.
Okay.
27,000 dollar millionaires have left this country since 2014. When such people leave, you're also talking about people leaving, you know, these are job creators. They're leaving. People are so sick and tired of the tax terrorism that has been unleashed in this country.
Okay.
They're sick and tired of that.
Salman,
they're sick and tired of being called kind of villains. They're sick and tired of being called thieves.
Salman, you're raising a point about the central government
failing.
I think it's only fair. One second. I think it's only fair that I get Zafar Islam to defend the position. And Zafar, I think one of the points that I want to talk about is, you know, whether it's stability and whether it's a vote against the central government. We will get to know on the 11th for sure. And we will, of course, then see what 2019 will look like. But the question that comes to my mind is that why was there so less of Mr. Modi during this electoral campaign? He did about 30-odd rallies in Gujarat, 27 in Karnataka, and just did about 10 and 11 each in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. He was supposed to be your best mascot, your recipe for electoral success. Were you preempting the results to not to be so good and kind of, you know, keep him away from the blame game?
No, you have to understand that he is the Prime Minister of the country. He
was the Prime Minister of this country when Karnataka and Gujarat went to elections.
Any of us have. So, absolutely no. I'm saying sometimes, like multilateral meetings like we had in Buenos Aires, I mean, how can he ignore G20 meetings, or how can he avoid such meetings? He has to attend that meetings, and when he's attending such meetings, obviously he will have to ignore the party work, which he had to do it, and which he did. But see, what is important, not that the less number of rallies or large number of rallies. When he is a committed party worker, and as I said, this we collectively fight every election. When he is available, he is always available to give his services to the party, and he should. He has done it, and he will always do it in the future as well. So we do not count in number of rallies he has done. Number of rallies he has been able to do is important, and he has been able to find time for those number of rallies purely because of the calendar which gets filled 6 months in advance, and the election happens only with a notice of only
absolutely.
40 days.
Zafar, between you and me,
the other thing which I am talking.
Okay, very quickly, Zafar.
Let me just respond to what Salman said.
Sure. Make it fast though.
No. All I'm saying that as Mr. Alag rightly pointed out, that in 2019 election, such discussion has some merit, whether the Bharatiya Janata Party led by the Honorable Prime Minister is one who will be tested in 2019, not now. These are a state election. The state leaderships are important. They are competent. They are They have won not one election, repeated elections they have won. They are there for 15 years, and we are confident. Even now, I'm saying, away from all these the poll surveys are suggesting, but we are absolutely confident of our victory. Be it Rajasthan, be it in Madhya Pradesh, be it in Chhattisgarh.
No, Zafar, give me a minute. I want to go across to Swami because I want to start this discussion also in the more, deep crevasses of Indian politics. And Swami, whether it is, and I know these are, tentative numbers, these numbers may change on the 11th, but the reality is that if you go across any of the polls that we are tracking, at least 9 of them, the BSP seems to have really been a non-player of sorts. That bet didn't quite pay off, it seems, in Chhattisgarh. It didn't seem to have paid off in Madhya Pradesh either. What will that mean? I mean, how are you going to read into this? Are you going to read into this as an irrelevant factor that Mayawati has become? Is this going to spur some kind of a greater alliance? Will Mayawati be on the back foot in Uttar Pradesh? I mean, how are you going to read how BSP has played along as far as the state elections of 2018 are concerned? They contested in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, and they haven't seemed to have done well in either of these states.
I would hold my horses on that one. You may say they're only winning 5-6 seats. But suppose there's a hung assembly. Those 5-6 seats can become extremely important. I don't think Mayawati is playing to become the leader anywhere. She's playing to become a balance of power person. She's playing to become a kingmaker. Has she lost out on that? On the basis of the exit polls, you cannot say that yet. In fact, she may well be in a position to dictate. And she is an amoral person. There is absolutely nothing in her track record to suggest that she is clearly for BJP or for the anti-BJP. She is there for herself. Her track record shows that in Uttar Pradesh, she has been in coalition with the BJP several times. So I do not rule out Mayawati having a significant role, even if she only wins 5-6 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 5-6 seats in Chhattisgarh. That can still make her a kingmaker. Let's wait and watch.
Indeed, and yes, if there is going to be a hung assembly and you will need those 5 extra seats in Madhya Pradesh, they will perhaps come from the camp of Ajit Jogi and Mayawati in Chhattisgarh and Mayawati in Madhya Pradesh. But Shankar Iyer, is that how you're going to read it? We had a Samajwadi Party spokesperson on the channel a little while back before the show started, Ghanshyam Tiwari, and he said, if we had if Congress was gracious enough to form a coalition, these numbers could have been even better. We all know that Akhilesh is a very tough bargainer. It's either his way or the highway. And even then, for the SP to today say these results could have been a lot better had the Congress taken us on board. Are we seeing early signs of, the Congress party being able to hammer some sort of a deal in Uttar Pradesh? Will these elections in any sense ensure that?
Well, first of all, I think would have, could have, must have, should have is a debate that can go on because there is no counterfactual on that. Here's the fact about the case. When Mayawati and BSP fight outside of UP and maybe barring Punjab and Uttarakhand, the role is that of a hedge fund to leverage maximum benefit for minimum effort. So they will contest seats, they will tie up with people. They've contested seats in Maharashtra, in Mumbai. The point that needs to be recognized is that Mayawati can be and BSP can only be assessed in the UP, in Uttar Pradesh. And as for the fact that whether Congress should have tied up with BSP and SP in Madhya Pradesh, it's a party's decision. I can also argue, or it could also be argued, that if Congress had not stood on their own and shown whatever little ground support that they have, they would have been sort of ignored. I mean, who would want to tie up with a party that is at 44? So in UP, again, SP and BSP are leaders. They are the big guys. So the Congress is going to get a small chunk, maybe 10 or 11 seats or 10, at the max 14 seats in the entire Lok Sabha election. So these are different battles, different weapons. So
I mean, this is an economic business channel, so let me put it this way. Different brands and different compositions work differently in different atmospheres. So Nirma may or may not work in urban centers, and Surf may or may not work in rural centers. So the question is not really about Mayawati doing badly or well. The question is that she will gain some leverage here. There is a sort of indication that all the parties recognize that the BJP is a behemoth, and the only way to deal with it is to use core competency. And if you see core competency, BJP has always had difficulty when it is in one-to-one battles, whether it is in Gujarat, whether it is in Rajasthan, whether it is in Madhya Pradesh, whether it is in Chhattisgarh, even in Karnataka, for all ends and purposes, it was a direct fight. So also the BJP has had trouble because of the long incumbencies in retaining seats. The question that that comes to mind is, are these translatable in 2019? You don't know. See, till 2013, the party which won Rajasthan in the assembly normally lost in the parliament elections.
Yes.
But in 2013, that got changed. So I don't think you can sort of do ergo proctor game here. I mean, you know, there needs to be necessary and sufficient conditions to change the picture.
Fair point, fair point. Hold that thought there. Sunil Alak, coming to you very quickly. You know, seemingly it seems, and I'm going to talk about electoral issues. This was an election that was fought on a very, very low political decorum level. I mean, nothing was left unsaid, from my Gotra to your Gotra, to me being a better Hindu, to you being a better Hindu, to Sanatan Dharma and things like that. Things that need to be practiced within the confines of your house were actually being discussed in public. Ministers were putting out tweets telling their Gotra. People were diverging their Gotras and temples that they visit. I mean, you know, from an electoral issue point of view, despite this being a shrill campaign, despite this being polarized, and I'm not blaming just the BJP on this, and I will take the question to both politicians on the show right now. I'm not just blaming the BJP. I think the Congress came back with equal rhetoric on this. Is there a sign that the Indian voter perhaps is not amused right now? He doesn't care what your Gotra is, and he doesn't care if you're a better Hindu. He's stressed out. He wants opportunities. He wants economic development. He wants growth. And if that's not going to happen, he's not going to play ball.
You know, I want to very quickly just first respond to Salman when he said stability. Whether it's the Congress or whether it's the BJP, the industry wants stability. Okay, we don't want a hodgepodge of parties trying to run the country. Now, your point is that basically what you're trying to say, what all of us are forgetting.
No, Sunil Alak, can I take a direct question with you?
Number of young voters who are coming into play. 1 second. You've asked a question about whether there's rhetoric and everything else. We are forgetting, nobody is discussing all the people who are crossing the age of 18 since 2014 and now. It's about 100 million of us. Is anyone catering to them? Do they listen to the rhetoric? Are they interested in all this drama of Gotra, not Gotra? They've got economic issues on their mind, and they will vote on that basis. This is the question. I mean, media can carry on talking about bringing it to the rhetoric, and rhetoric generally, as I came on your show last week, it only happens in the last couple of weeks before an election. That's the only time when the rhetoric rises. Before that, it's always economic issues. And let us not forget that there are going to be 100 million new voters in 2019.
Right.
What do the younger generation want? Is anyone bothered? Is anyone caring? And that's what's going to make the difference in 2019.
No, Sunil,
and
I think
that's what people are, and the voter is getting very mature.
Exactly.
What they vote in a state will not be what they vote in the center.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
Please
no,
bring it back to the right kind of discussion.
Sunil, like you're hitting the nail on its head, that the rhetoric can well continue into the media space. The voter on the ground is very mature. He wants a different narrative. 2014 was about hope, and he's not going to forget that. If he's disillusioned because his hope was not met, and if he's placing his faith in you, you better deliver. That's the message from the voter. But, you know, the larger point that I want to make is this being a very polarized campaign of sorts. Zafar, let me put this question to you. There are diminishing returns out of the temple, there are diminishing returns out of religion, and yet these are things that get spoken about.
See, Supriya, I can see
Minister who goes to Hyderabad and says
the
he's
smile
going to
on
rename the
Congress's
city if he wins
spokesperson.
Telangana. Well, guess what? You may not even win more than 4 seats there.
Smile will not last beyond 2 days. But let me come back to you to respond to your question. See, we do not want to use religion for political reason. Politics is something which we should be independent of religion, and that is the way we have pursued. But Congress always use religion and other things to divide the society, whether a policy of appeasement, whether using religion to only divide the society, which definitely we do not want to pursue. But these are the issues which have racked up by Congress. They were talking about Gotras, they were talking about is Rahul Gandhi, who is actually showing everyone the Gotra. He is the one. How many times he has been to temple, and since when he started going to temple and projecting him as
Zafar, this is ET now. Don't forget, this is ET now. We don't talk Gotra, we don't talk religion. And when you say Rahul Gandhi, you also had your textile minister putting out in public domain what her father and her mother and her own Gotra was. Let's not go there. But Salman Soz, the responsibility also lies on you. Why are you not making substantive issues? Why are you replying in equal measure to this rhetoric? You are as pliable to this rhetoric as the BJP is. And you can't escape from that. You've been a party to this rhetoric as well. You are everything for everyone, it seems, right now.
Look, Supriya, this kind of rhetoric, this kind of division, it does not work for the Congress party, because the Congress party really needs to talk about the issues. The BJP has not been talking about the issues because they've failed. Modi has failed. He's incompetent. Now, as far as, what is this rhetoric about? I mean, think about what they're doing to this country. The Congress president said to Prime Minister Modi, you say Bharat Mata ki jai, but you should actually, the way you are, you should be saying Ambani Adani ki jai. That's what he was saying. What did Prime Minister Modi do? He said, Congress people are issuing a fatwa, because he wanted to send a message of other. There's an other. The Muslim is the other. The fatwa. Otherwise, you could have just said directive. He didn't say directive. He said fatwa. We know.
Okay.
All 5 of us. Please do not interrupt me. Please do not interrupt me.
Zafar, I'll come
all
back to
5
you.
of us know, who are on this panel, and the people watching home, people watching at home. Honestly, we all know, hand to heart, that the BJP has a very divisive agenda.
Okay.
And
Salman?
their politics is about exclusion. Their politics is about renaming cities because they don't like a Muslim name on a city.
Okay, Salman.
Tomorrow, Aditya Das can tell me, Salman or Zafar, do not, your names are not good enough for us. Change your names.
No, I
Zafar
think,
knows
okay,
it.
Salman, let me come in there. I think to Yogi Adityanath, no, one second, Salman, let me come in there. I think to Yogi Adityanath, who is the political mascot of sorts being paraded across states, to him the message is very clear tonight. You will not win more than 5 or 6 seats in Telangana, so give up your plans and your dreams of renaming Hyderabad. We like that city, that is what it's called. Focus your energies on UP, go and visit the slain cops family. That is what you should be doing. Focus on law and order. Try and get some development to UP. Try and engage people more meaningfully so that they don't kill cops on duty, in line of duty. I mean, that's the message to people like Yogi Adityanath, but let's not generalize the whole debate here. Swami, if I may very quickly ask you this question, and I know this question will become a part of the Congress rhetoric, and everything that happens well, is Swami being able to hear me, is everything that happens well is of course the Gandhis. Suddenly I know that the conversation is going to veer towards how Rahul Gandhi is now your more potent political leader. Can he really take on the BJP? Is he going to be the fulcrum of the opposition unity and all of that? I don't dismiss this as becoming questions and issues. What would your answers to these questions be? Swami.
No, as far as the Congress party is concerned, this is the party of the Gandhi family. And since the Gandhi family is led right now by Rahul, they have no option except to go with him. I have been at election campaigns before, and when you're asked, what will happen if the party wins, they say, Rahul will get the credit. And if it loses, they say, oh, no, we workers will have to take the blame for not being able to fulfill the potential that Rahul gives to the party. Has Rahul improved his potential vis-a-vis the past? Yes. He appears to have been far more credible in the way he speaks, certain clarity of thought, a certain amount of confidence. Will that be enough to overcome the disadvantages? Very far from clear. You have a situation where he seems to be trying to remake himself in a kind of Hindu Shiv Bhakt thing. Is this an appropriate way for the party to regain the ground that it has lost? I doubt that very much. The idea that, the Congress has lost ground because it was too secular or was giving the idea that, it is too pro-Muslim and we definitely need that image. I think that is the wrong path. I do not think this is the kind of thing on which the Congress is going to regain lost ground. It really needs to do better.
Shankar Iyer, I think the question will also be, from a BJP point of view, they would want to make this a presidential contest. They would want to make this a contest between Mr. Modi and Rahul Gandhi. The advantage should lie between regional players. I mean, where you can form, I've been saying for a while, 2019, if at all, has to be a tactical game. It needs to be a duel in every state. It can't be this pan-India sort of a presidential sort of an election. But do we run the risk of that happening? At least from the BJP's point of view, that's what they would want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The golden rule in Indian politics is victory. When there is victory, the credit is individualized. When there is defeat, the blame is distributed. So whether it is the BJP or the Congress, is the same story. There's no. It will be presidential because Rahul Gandhi sort of represents the entity called Congress for whatever it believes, and Mr. Modi is the messenger, the campaigner, the leader, the party. I mean, there's no question about it. The difference between the BJP in 2009 and BJP in 2014 was Mr. Modi. It's absolutely, and the distance between him and the rest of the party is growing by the day. So the issue is really, you spoke about rhetoric and all these issues coming forth. So the 2014 elections, people invested in facts, in hope, in ideas, in solutions. And by 2018, the political discourse has gone back from facts to faith, from idea and ideology to identity. And it has degenerated. I think the BJP had a good case to speak about in Madhya Pradesh. They took, in 15 years, Madhya Pradesh per capita income has gone up from 14,000 to 74,000. However, they could not get industrial employment or industrial investment. So all of these could be discussed, but none of these points get discussed because it is easier to sell faith.
Okay, it's easier to sell faith, and I hope it wasn't easy at all, and I hope it wasn't the bane of our politics. But Sunil Alag, and please keep your answers really short. I've got the last 2 minutes on this show. And Sunil, very quickly then, what I fear the most coming out of these elections is we've got a parliament session right around the corner, the winter session of parliament. How hopeful are you of legislative decision making? My fear is there will be further legislative logjam.
No, there will only be a logjam if the Congress feels there's something which is good for the country. They will stop it because they want it to come if they come back into power. Otherwise, if they're the mature opposition today, then everything good for the country should see it through. And there should be no more political, kind of stuff going on. As far as I'm concerned, look, the new trend is Vasu in Rajasthan, Chauhan in MP, Kamal Nath and Jyotiraditya, these are the new leaders, Sachin Pilot in Rajasthan. There's a new leadership emerging, and at the center, if you want, it will be Modi versus Rahul, and you cannot give credit or anything before that. Let it be at the center when the two leaders fight, and at the state level, let the states fight. That's the way it's going to work out for all of us. Look out for the young 100 million who are coming in to vote at the age of 18. What do they want? That's the future, and the voter is getting mature. When I've gone around the market, they've said, I want to vote for X party in the state and I want to vote for another party in the center. They are very, very mature now. So let's see what happens. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, just very quickly, 30 seconds to each of you. Zafar Islam, is this going to make the BJP sit back and say you were voted on the plank of development of hope, you need to go back to the blueprint? 30 seconds, please.
Well, Supriya, we have followed the model of development. We'll continue to follow a model of development because that is the only thing which India needs. And we will be consistent in our approach, no matter how the result pans out. But we know that in terms of our performance, what we have delivered to the people of this country, how all the welfare schemes have changed their life and their lifestyle, how the mindset will definitely change and will reflect in the outcome of this election as well as in the future election as well.
Okay, Salman Soos, very quickly, we are less than 5 months away from general elections. The Congress party, are you willing to play the junior ally in states where you are perhaps extinct like Uttar Pradesh and be the senior partner in states where you're dominating? Is the Congress going to make those tactical changes that you have so far been resistant to making? Because those are cues for 2019. Very quickly, please.
Look, Supriya, in 2014, after the election, nobody could have imagined that we would be now 5 months away from the general election talking about opportunities to defeat Prime Minister Modi. I think now we have a great opportunity. I think the results of these elections show that there is a path. The elections are wide open. I think the Congress party now needs to go to the people and say, we are the party of experience. We've been the stewards for this country. We've tried to keep this country together.
Okay.
Our policies, our vision is going to defeat BJP's vision of division. I think we must defeat BJP. We must fight for the soul of this country, and we will take this country back.
All right. But I think for today, this is the exit poll. I keep telling my viewers, this is the exit polls. These are tentative numbers. Perhaps the actual results will be in this direction, but experience has also told us to take them with a pinch of salt because things have changed on the actual election day, on the actual voting day. But thank you very, very much, Salman Ali, Zafar Islam, Shankar Iyer, Sunil Alag and Swaminathan Iyer for being with us in this edition of the India Development Debate. 1/6 of the Lok Sabha has voted as far as assembly elections are concerned. Exit polls are giving the Congress party an edge. The question now to every politician is, please sit back and think, what has this vote been for? Work for development, work for economic growth, work for economic activity and job creation. Do not attempt to divide us, and this division is happening from both ends of the political spectrum. Thank you very much for being with us on this edition of the India Development Debate.